I've been mulling over Burn for some time now, ever since my first engagement with it. And I'll say in advance for anybody who, like me at one point, walked into this piece from a novice interaction perspective that in a minute, of course, will become informed when we entertain it together. I found it to be a piece that is not easily forgettable and has an appreciative depth. I would imagine, I don't want to speak for anybody, but I would believe there will be a similar concurrence of opinion when you experience it yourself. And of course, walking into a Written by Wolves song, that is to be believed. This is a group that I've spoken before in quite high credit. And as I've said before, just in simple reflection, even in the beginning days of just aspiring to highlight music as an art form here, I've said many times, first love in my life amongst artistic languages, and I do believe it's best enjoyed collaboratively. There are certain artists that I thought of for a while as being mandatory names at one point whenever we had a chance to interact with a work together, specifically maybe ones on new release grounds. Written by Wolves, ever since Give 'Em Hell, I've had that opportunity. They are one such standout name for me that I've been listening to for a couple years, ever since... It's sometime after To Tell You the Truth debuted. I'm always fuzzy on the year, but it was a little after that I discovered them, and they do have the credit on my library being the first New Zealand-based group of... I've qualified them as, and I'm studying a foundation for anybody, again, who approaches from a novice position, and I welcome anybody, by the way. Longtime fans, I know there are many of you, or maybe some still initiate listeners, right? It is my hope that I'm perhaps pitching roots for you to find talent so you've not yet discovered. And with Written by Wolves, I mean, I speak from experience. My social circle, I'm 99% sure this is not an adjacent name, though they deserve to be. And again, their fan base is quite large, but there obviously still is room for their name to get to new ears. And maybe you would qualify yourself as somebody who's not yet appreciated their talents. Again, pretty notable, I think, within the alternative space of a good trade of genres, though definitively, I've not credited this yet because I guess it wasn't known to me, of progressive and cinematic rock vision. Typically, though again, the variation and employ in terms of musical tones and different types of genre inclusions interwoven together, which you'll kind of see to an effect with Burn. It truly is impressive. And then, of course, on top of that, you have the vocals to complement. I love Mikey's voice. It really is a standout for me. In terms of the inflection points, the strength, the volatility in part, this one, again, you'll really see a ferocious side. And the catharsis. As I said, I've been thinking over Burn for a while now. Not just in respect to the proficiency of the song, but in, as well, aspect of reminiscence. And there are traits that are familiarized to this piece. And this is part of the reason, by the way, you saw the Reintroduction label. Normally, I do choose to interact with music on a first impression witness basis, but sometimes there are departures where I think it's warranted. And I did, in fact, cover this on an initiated listener basis, but I didn't think I did the piece justice, because on a re-listen, and it was a fun re-listen too, it sounds really good on my car stereo, very intense piece. I was trying to think over what exactly it is that is such a reminiscent point of engagement. And I don't think it's the title, though there is a close tie to perhaps past numbers of Recent Standing and album issue. Think Burn or Let It Burn, like rings a bell, Burn, Let It Burn. Anyway. And still, you have that raw, cathartic edge that I respect, I've loved greatly within the metal sphere. Or metal, rock, again, I'm being inclusive to both territories. And again, you'll see shades of intersection here with this number. I'm getting ahead of myself. You'll see this again in a minute when we listen to it together. It truly is a fun work of art. As I was saying, though, I think the reminiscence. I would summarize Burn as the roughened cousin to Apathy is a Hell of a Drug. Now, I'm still processing narrative parallels, or the possibility of, if in fact there maybe is a reminiscence on message, but the delivery, the key choice, I think that's partly what was cueing to me, like, this sounds really close to something, though the voice on this one is quite distinctive. And when I say Written by Wolves has a broad range, Burn is, I think, a great embodiment of this. If you want a testament of just one example providing that for you, this could be your first window, and maybe your first step into Written by Wolves. We're going to enjoy it together, again, from a refined lens of understanding with the piece, which I think Burn, based on what I realize about it now, and keeping in mind my second engagement in particular on a re-listen status, I want to give it the justice it deserves. This is a fun piece to engage with, and its depth in terms of musicality, truly appreciable. I've been hyping it up for a little while now, so let's get to it in terms of our mutual encounter. Again, music is best enjoyed in company. For Written by Wolves, I love the experience of addressing their work, and I've been waiting to get to Burn and to give it the diligence that it deserves in discussion, because this truly is a remarkable piece, in my opinion. I hope, again, not to speak for anybody, I don't want to get in a habit of that, but I hope you see the strength of it too. I think you will. It's not that hard to miss.
Today's the day. Hope you're with us. No more waiting around. We don't know what's out there. We don't know what's waiting for us. But we're coming out, ready or not. Let's go watch it burn.
There we go. Engaging teaser. That was revealed earlier on in a promo teaser on social channels. You know what, that opener, I kind of get vibes too, not just to... God, this number has such a good launch to it. On the rougher side, and a real deliberate footing into a metal bounce. I love this pulse.
Hey, the world's on fire. We're just killing time while it all expires. Take a number, get in line once. We thought we tried,
so
but we
great.
failed and let it die. Hey, now let's not cry. Just sit back, remember the moment we crossed the line.
The variability on energy, energetic opener, and these shifts, even the softer ballad side. This number casts a wide net in terms of rock tastes, I think. Yeah, you think? That's great. They really have a great hand over, again, interweaving different tones. It amazes me so much. They are an experience.
Remember the moment we crossed the line, and we realized we'd run out of time. We gave up and just watched the fire. Remember.
I'm not just getting shades to apathy is a hell of a drug. I'm thinking now of Any Second too. That one hasn't hit me yet. Now I'm really getting the vibe. This really feels like a deliberate intersection with the rock world, which is so nice. Metalhead of many years, so I get a stronger connection here than they really ever have on those grounds. And there are songs that are directed that way, but this really feels like a heavy footing. This has to make for a killer live performance too. I mean, you got the fire and everything. It feels like a fun rock pyrotechnic show. And the bookend wrap up too to match the conclusion. Isolate again the aggressive root structure of the piece. It's got such a good foundation, endearing. Again, open to broad taste though. That's what I said about Written by Wolves. Their command over different tones really impresses me, and how natural they intersect. There are pieces they've done in the past, especially in our encounters together, Sins Give 'Em Hell, that we've seen that rock root fleshed. But this one really, I mean, I would say it's closest in the pieces we've experienced. And there are ones, again, that take on a rougher shade, as well matched with a quickened pacing. This one, I think, feels the most fast. In particular, given the dominance of the percussion, the balance of that, and then the riff. It's just such a heavy piece on voice. I really feel like, I don't often, though I interweave rock and metal intentionally, because I do think there's a natural intersection between the two styles, and among fans of whatever group you might look at, there are mutual points of where the two styles parallel. Rock might allow for, I think, a more generalized direction, whereas metal has a certain perception, especially with outliers of favorability towards it. You know, we all know if we're in a metal space, we might be in company together, but we might be in a rather niche space in terms of the outside world. So perception is always, metal's so harsh and aggressive, where even there's some variability there, but rock, I think, generally allows or accommodates a wider field of styles in open acknowledgement versus metal that has the expectancy of being harsh. Though again, we're proven differently by different groups depending on how they wish to tailor their own specific voices, whether it be in a generalized form or in specific numbers. For me, Written by Wolves has had pieces that have dipped a footing onto a metal declaration, but it's still it feels like it's resting in that rock territory, but it's nearing that. This one feels like such a deliberate step. Like We All Initiate Together, it's just got this fun pulse, this bounce effect that really stands out. And similar reminiscence on messaging, I mean, however we look at it. And again, I'm getting echoes to possibly, I need to dig deeper into the narrative to see if there is a complementary survey within Apathy is a Hell of a Drug. I'm definitely getting cues back to any second. Even on the rock right now that I really think about it, there are maybe more parallels than I accounted for, but certainly of recent standout. I'd say the closest on aggression of what we've looked at together has been in this style, that would be Misery. But even that feels, let me think of the choruses of that one again. Then again, that would actually, I think, be a close experience, but Burn adopts a seemingly faster voice, in particular because of the rhythm and, again, the particular dominance of the riffs and the percussion. That match in particular is really doing a lot of the heavy lifting and manifesting that faster feel. Real crowd pleaser of a number, and again, a beautiful range. Good key choice, by the way. I really like how this one sets in. And the way it's scored, again, the organization of their pieces, with reason, as you can see, qualified Written by Wolves as a strong name within the alternative sphere. And I think Burn paints a pleasant picture for anybody who is operating on novice standing as to what is the voice of Written by Wolves and how are they differentiated from other talents I've welcomed before, maybe in the rock space or even in maybe adjacent spaces like metal. Because again, I could see it being a networking piece that reaches out to new listeners, especially ones who prefer a more harsh voice. This number offers that. Though again, the mixture of cues, when we get into that softer ballad entrance, and you see that variability in metal, a lot, in fact, but it just feels like such a balanced number. The emphatic side of the message, I'd say emphatic, I was going to say, well, pathos might be a bit too strong. There's still that spirit if you want to look for it in that light. I would say it's a connective work on narrative. However you approach it, I do think, again, some songs offer a bit of a broad variability in how one takes the message and translates it into the world surrounding them or in maybe personal accommodation. This one, I could see intersections over a number of respects, where everybody's just sitting back watching the world burn in different ways. This piece speaks to, I would say, a chaotic spirit that, in a way, Burn is quite beautiful. Music in the rock sphere has such an open catharsis, and a song like this, while it's it sounds like a troubled song by nature, but yet there's a beauty in it at the same time. Chaos begets beauty. I think I've used that line before to other numbers, but this one in particular, I can't help but say that. And as bombastic and aflame as the voice of his piece is, it does carry this passionate spirit that easily connects. I really like it as a number. It's one of my favorites from them, and I probably say that each piece. I'm not one to rank things. I hate doing that. But I've liked every piece of Engage of Together from Written by Wolves. I have their entire library, to the best of my knowledge, on my phone right now. I've gone through, I would say, at the very least, about 95% of our numbers, but I haven't gone through 100 yet, all on my own. And I can speak again in a generalized focus of any pieces from their back catalog being of advantage to any new fan. And if you are of such standing, I would recommend you take that journey for yourself. But if his newer works, since Give 'Em Hell, I've been really impressed. Burn, though, strikes an immediate connection of me on metal grounds. It still has that cathartic edge with that balance in different attributes in Written by Wolves' library. You can see every piece is fleshing themselves out in various sections within the number. It's not just, again, a metal root, though the way we start and most of the choruses following after that first carry on that heavier edge. And some of the transitional verses, the isolations on the vocals in particular, and with that riff towards the end, and I think on the bridge section. And Mikey's vocals really stand out here. I love the growls, the screams. Again, passion. You sense it, and with them, I'm never let down. I love their pieces so much. This one, though, just has such a fun life and an energy and a vibrance to it. Doesn't it? Again, I said as much, I would say, in a broader respect with our initiate encounter if I decided to put it up like that. But again, I just felt after that second experience, I'm like, I didn't do this piece justice. I didn't really see with full eyes just how much of an experience in particular that it is. But I'm sure you see it for yourself. Just even on our reprisal journey, it is still just as fun, if not better. And I suspect on re-listens you're going to say the same. I would think. Again, not to speak for you, but I would imagine that's been, the case of me, and maybe for many others in the Written by Wolves fan family as well. I would love to hear, though, your thoughts down below on this piece, however you approach it. Again, vantage point, I welcome everybody. Longtime fan, or hopefully some of you are initiate listeners. What do you think? I think Burn is one of the best that we've had recently from their library. Strong visualizer to boot. Any pyrotechnics show, of course, easily connects to a metalhead. This is an experience that's going to, if it's part of their set lineup on any of the tours they're going on. I know they're on, I think, a couple of European excursions right now. This is going to be a real crowd pleaser. I'm hoping to one day make it to the live venue and hopefully see Burn. I think that's the next evolution, of course, an experience, but as just a number and a visualizer and what we can see of it now generally. It's a fun piece of music. And I like highlighting good art, and from Written by Wolves, I'm never let down. I hope for some of you, again, that this is of an initiation journey, that similar experiences forthcoming. Again, open door policy. I can't wait for whatever's next from this group. They always impress. But I hope for you it's the same story, right? It's been that for me with so many years following this group. And I hope it's a shared experience that you see with Burn. I really think this piece is quite special. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.